What is up, you guys? Sage here. Healing, part two. Well, already from the first one, you can kind of see a progression. You can see me being a much more whole man now, and I'm not one for airy fairy fugazi things, like generational curses and stuff. I think that's just a name for something that we all understand to be somewhat true. And I think what they are is just habits that you've learned, things that are deemed acceptable by your environment that are not necessarily productive. And so I'd like to say something with you, a little bit of a mantra, and I want you guys to say it with me, which is, on this holy divine day, I hereby release all things that don't serve my higher self. Okay? On this holy divine day, I hereby release all things that don't serve my higher self. That's the journey that we've gone on. That's the journey of healing, as far as I'm concerned. Which is, for me, it started very much with sexual hygiene and not wanting to allow myself to do certain things, and it started very slowly. It started like I'm gonna just keep the holes that I have. I'm not gonna get any more holes. And then obviously things happen. You trim down. You find excuses. A girl coughs wrong, you cut her off, and eventually you cut down to your lean little stack. And that time is something internally was brewing, telling me, bro, you know what needs to be done. But obviously I delayed it, and then there came a time where my hand was forced to kind of sever ties. And then there was one that eventually took a while, but yeah, that's the one that I had to have like a genuine heart to heart conversation with about, this is the journey that I'm thinking about going on, and I don't have room for this. And so it became a purification process. Um, and then comes the addition. Um, and we're talking specifically about healing now. On the journey of healing, first you need to remove yourself from environments that don't serve you, and you need to release things that don't serve you. You need to stop doing things that don't serve your highest self, that don't serve who you're trying to become. Because we can talk about goals, and I tweeted something the other day that was, my goals are the medium through which I'm strengthening my relationship with myself. And I truly sincerely believe that all that is just something to keep you accountable, to let you know that you're still on the path, you're still doing the things that you said you were going to do, and you're still working towards what you said you were going to work towards, period. And it is in that working towards that you become, and it's that person that you want to become, that you're working towards ultimately. And everything that doesn't serve that, everything that that person doesn't do or is not interested in, you stop doing now, and you're not interested in now. Because if you're gonna not be interested in it eventually, then why be interested now? That's the question that comes for me ultimately. But the step I took in my journey of healing today is, I actually unblocked my ex, and that ex specifically is the love of my life thus far. She's been the love of my life thus far, and with that came a lot of funny enough, Kevin Gates has a song, Healing, in which in fact, heal you, he says, understand your trauma, girl, I'm tapped into the real you. um yeah, and then obviously he goes into this and that, but ultimately he's talking about a certain bond, like, and about like other people, you felt they felt this way, this and that, but me, when I touch you, I heal you. I like other people who came for you or who were with you were kind of there with lustful intentions. And when we had this conversation, I actually struggled to lust after in the beginning, because I just had such like a pure intentions with this person, which is not obviously typically what I was dealing with or what I was known for at that time. But there's just something different about this, and so I engaged it as such, and so on and so forth. and so love happens. But at the same time, I was doing dirt. I was doing this and that because of my beliefs at that time, and in the way that I understood loyalty back then, I was loyal to the T, but I was also, doing my thing with girls on the side. And for me, loyalty was, I'm not going to give them my time, I'm not going to give them my resources, that's for my woman. But in terms of like physical is just because that's what I believed at that time. I believe differently now, but I was living according to what I believed at that time. And so when I find out that that's wrong, I confess, and then things happen, people break up, we eventually give each other space. I give her space, and then in the space that I've given her, there things happen, family influences, and someone that you know her parents had approved of, kind of goes into her life, um, and they start dealing with one another, etc. But I don't know this at the time. I only learned this today. By the time I get back, she's already in a full blown relationship. I'm confused. Everyone's hurt at this point. Um, and so that's basically how it ended. Like that abruptly, all that confusion. You just don't know what's going on. And so when that's a part of your dating history, I don't think you can heal. I like especially in terms of relationships, because I've really been in a spot where I'm trying to like meet people and this and that. And in that meeting of people, you are not 100,000% open to not you're not open to the idea, but as you are proceeding in this, in the back of your mind, you're like, ish, but if this doesn't work out, I can always go talk to, or maybe I can see, because this is like I found that I don't actually like people, in terms of they don't serve my highest self. I'll just put it that way. And in them not serving that, I just cut them off immediately. I'm not going to waste my time. And in so doing, there was still that in the back of my mind, which was, but there is this person. And then so I thought to myself, you know what? It may not be true that there is that person. That person may have moved on, may have this, may have that, but I'd rather hide from the truth. I'd rather shy away from the truth than to face it, which is just a weird position to be in. And so instead of putting myself in that position, instead of allowing myself to be in that position, I think my laptop may be shutting down. 2 seconds. We're back. So yeah, you do have this person in the back of your mind, and you kind of have that as an alternative route or something that you think could happen. And the funniest thing happened, right? Which was I do decide to unblock her, deal with whatever emotions come with it, so that I can remove it from my mind, so I can release myself from it. And in sorry, and in so doing, I discovered something very interesting, which is, yes, she's still a good person. She's still a good person, and there's still like there's still love in a way going both ways. But I realized that who she is doesn't serve my higher self. And the funny thing about that is, if you just look at the progression of the human being, if you look at how much more whole and how much more centered the person that I am now is compared to who I was then. Because I talked to her about this as well, and I said, one thing I didn't like about me when I was with you is that, and this wasn't about you. This is a me thing. Is that I was willing to forego my goals. I was willing to let go of my hopes, dreams, aspirations, etc., in order to make you happy, in order to appease you. If you had asked me to stop doing everything that I was doing, I would have, for you. And that's a very dangerous thing, to lose yourself within love. But the way that you don't do that is by actually being in tune with yourself and understanding yourself, and loving yourself. But in order to love you, you have to understand you, and you have to be able to keep yourself accountable. You have to be able to trust you. And so I've been rebuilding my trust with myself, um, getting rid of habits that don't serve me, putting in habits that do serve me, slowly but surely. Like bite-sizing the process of, like, okay, I'm gonna read one page, and I don't even read anymore, because like I'm in school, and there's a lot of I don't really count that as reading. Reading for me is specifically when I'm, you know, in reading my books the way that I want, the type of content that I want to read. If it's for whatever project or for school, it doesn't even count. But anyway, I say that to say, in the process of healing, you may find yourself in a position like I found myself, which was I actually did get back in contact with that person. We are having some very nice, very cordial conversation, and it is in that I found like I still love this person, but I love this person like I love anyone else in my life. I love I love you guys. I love I pour into you guys because it serves me to do so as well, and that's pretty much it. There's nothing else outside of that kind of pushes me towards giving and serving to you. That's the way I felt. That's the way I found myself feeling. The most heart skip a beat moment was literally the moment before I blocked her, the before I unblocked her, because I was opening the floodgates, and Lord knows what was on the other side. And when I opened those floodgates, I realized there was nothing. And so that's why I think it's very important on the journey on the journey of getting to the highest elevation of the self, to confront the things that you neglect, and to make sure that you get a full holistic understanding. And yes, this could have gone very south, but I'm doing legs tomorrow, so I was very prepared for my heart to be broken again, so that I could just go in that gym, hammer away, and at least I would be processing the emotions. In I read something that was very very timely, because as I literally unblocked her, I read this thing, and it was, in order to heal, you have to feel. And by blocking her, I was blocking the emotions, and I wasn't allowing myself to feel it, and I wasn't allowing myself to process it. And I've been talking a lot about trying to process emotions, this and that, with different people. And it's cool doing that just by myself in my own head and kind of putting things in different compartments. But there's a different level of clarity. And when people usually say closure, they're talking about some sort of physical release. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in, oh, just one more time and then. I don't believe in that. If you're going to be over it after that, you might as well be over it now. But the type of closure that I'm talking about is in terms of literally, in terms of just closing the circle of information, which is, there was this thing missing, and there was this what if of like, man, what if it could still work out? What if I still want her? What if she still loves? And it's like, it's cool, like, and I'm I'm fairly certain that she is open to the idea of us dating, and I was open to it as well, until we kind of had conversations, and then I realized, like, oh, okay, no, she's still a good person, but I would not date her currently, like current state, just because of what my interests are, and what my mindset is and her mindset, and the differences I'm seeing in that. And I just don't see those two worlds meshing well. There are still obviously a lot of things that we have in common, and she's still a good person. Again, I'm not gonna block her again or anything crazy like that, but what I'm trying to say is, in that journey of healing, confronting is very necessary, and being very very honest with yourself is also necessary. um, and when you do confront these things, sometimes what you may find, which is what I found, is by confronting them, you've actually healed already. You just don't know it yet. And so what I realized in having that conversation is, wow, I didn't think I'd moved on. And it's not to say like, oh, I don't love you anymore, but it's just to say, it's just not for me anymore, you know. And so, but by that I mean, it took the conversation to realize, like, wow, I've actually moved on. I didn't realize it, in terms of, I'm not who I was a year ago. I'm not who broke up with you. I'm not who you broke up with. Like, I'm not the person that I was back then. And I have different standards, and I have different, and it's not better standards, it's not higher, I have different standards. I have different expectations of myself, and I have different expectations of my partner. And as such, this actually wouldn't work out. Boom, closed loop. You get what I'm trying to say? And now my heart is fully open to like having these conversations. Actually, like, not to say that I'm aggressively trying to find my wife, but if ever I met a girl and I was really getting along with her, etc., I now no longer have to think that, Ish, what if this person comes back in my life? What if this person comes back in my life and blah blah blah? Now I like that doesn't exist anymore as a thought in my head. How freeing, you know? So in order to heal, you have to feel, and bear in mind that on this day, on this holy divine day, we are releasing the things that don't serve our higher selves. And finally, any progress is a testament to your elevation. Mistakes make us great. I'm proud of you. I think you're doing amazing. Keep doing amazing, keep plugging away, and keep improving on your journey of healing, your journey of becoming whole again, becoming a better man or woman. Or maybe I have some female members of my audience. I assume it was mostly dudes just because I'm a dude and people, I assume it's mostly black dudes specifically because as a marketing and sales person, I know that people usually relate more so with people that they can identify with and they can see themselves in. And so it'll be easier, obviously, for a person who literally fits the avatar that I am to see themselves. Anyway, love you guys. I appreciate you guys. If you did subscribe to my YouTube channel, if you did in fact enjoy the video, I thank you. I've been Sage, standing on, signing out.